Hey, shutter clickers. It's that time of year.
What time of year is it?
It's that time of year when we look at our best photos from the previous year. And last year, we smashed it. All professional landscape photographers this time of year do a photo blog touting their best photos from the previous year. And usually it goes something like this. They start out by telling you what their photo settings were. You know, things like f-stop, ISO, shutter speed. And to me, that's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. The settings for that composition may be totally different 30 seconds from now. And besides that, who really cares? The next thing they want to tell you is about all the hardships they endured while they were taking the pictures. They want to talk about snowstorms, rainstorms, how hard the wind was blowing. You know, they want to tell you about how they stood knee deep in the creek to get the picture, or they were hanging off the edge of a cliff. And then in the middle of all this, you get about 5 minutes of what's called B-roll. You know, pictures of them walking back and forth. And you know, really, who cares?
I don't know. Who cares?
Stop that. Now, not every photo will do that. Some are just pretty pictures, you know, nice to look at. But the important ones for me, the ones that are worthy of a year-end review, are the ones that tell a personal, real-life story. Now, do they tell the viewer, that's you, the same story? Oh, I'm sure they probably won't. But maybe if you hear my story when I'm taking that picture, then it will bring to mind your own story and make that picture special to you. That's what makes a photograph, a snapshot, photographic art. And that's how I'm going to do my year-end review. I'm going to tell you about the personal experience, what went through my mind when I took that picture. Now, will these photos be technically perfect? Maybe, maybe not. Will they be jaw-dropping beauties? Maybe, maybe not. But that is not important to me. What is more important to me is what memory or what thought came to my mind and what will come to your mind as you view the picture. So let's go to the computer here and take a look at my shots, and I'll try not to get, you know, too philosophical, too preachy. Now, this first picture was taken in a village along Barcelona Road, and I was thinking the trees were going all out this year with a big bang. It made me think that as I get older, I can easily become apathetic about life. You know, we forget to plan, to set goals for ourselves as we get older. We keep thinking our future is too short, but age shouldn't dictate how we live our life. Every day should start and end with a bang, just like the trees did this fall. You know, big trees, little trees, old trees, young trees, every year they go out with a bang. Shouldn't we take every day and make it so great that we go out with a bang? This next group of pictures was taken downtown Hot Springs. Many of you will recognize the bathhouse buildings, and they are beautiful buildings, and they have been restored to perfection. But every time I see them, I can't help but think of the quackery and how foolish people can be, especially when it comes to their health. You know, the buildings are historic, but our foolishness today is as current as the latest news alert. This group is the tulips planted at Garvin Gardens, and I tell you, you got to be brain dead not to appreciate the beauty of these tulips in full bloom. You know, the wow factor here is at a level 10. Whenever I see these flowers, I always think of a verse from the Bible when Jesus said, "So why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. And yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory was not dressed like one of these." Now, those are planted flowers. They're well maintained. But then there are the wildflowers, as seen in this picture. They just grow in a ditch somewhere. You know, they don't even need weeding. With this one, I know what you're thinking. A picture of a sign? You know, really, you must be kidding. Let's take a look. The work this sign refers to was completed at Mount Magazine during the Great Depression, and the structure built reminded me that even in the toughest times, men can find meaningful work to accomplish. Now, many people at the time considered these types of work programs as welfare, but these men worked hard with picks and shovels to build something good, which is still in use today, 80 years later. This next shot is a picture of a waterfall at Garden Gardens. The fall brings to mind Daniel Defoe's book, Robinson Crusoe. You know the book. It's a story of a castaway and the struggles that he faced just living from one day to the next. And that's the way life is. It's a struggle from one day to the next. You know, what does this picture make you think of?
Blazing up the charts at number 7.
This next shot is a house built at historic Washington National Park down in southern Arkansas. It was built in the middle 1800s. Those were hard and difficult times for people, but they still spent the resources and the hard work to build beautiful things that were much more than what was necessary to meet their necessities. Isn't appreciation for and ownership of beautiful things some of the benefits and the rewards for hard work? Now, this picture here is nothing more than a nice scene at Petit State Park. It's captured technically correct, but isn't there an element of restfulness and peace? There was for me as I stood there on that hot summer day and the cool breeze was blowing across the top of the mountain. Sometimes I need scenes like this to clear my mind and to bring it to rest. This was a sunset at Petit on the same trip, and here I'm standing at the edge of a cliff. And when I stood there, I felt like an explorer about ready to take his first step into the unknown. And I was wondering, what's out there? Contemplating, where does it end? Considering, do I have what it takes to make it through? Isn't that what life is? A new challenge each day and every day? This is another tulip picture. It looks so delicate that you just want to reach down there and touch it. Oh, feel it, because it looks so soft and pretty. Yet, it's so delicate that you don't dare touch it. You know, all life is delicate. But we have to charge on with care. This picture here, this is the Moon Bridge at Garden Gardens. It makes me think of the children's book, Alice in Wonderland. The book is about Alice and the struggles she goes through as she's growing up. To deal with those struggles, she creates this fantasy land. Now, she finally meets her struggles head on and comes to grips with real life, something that we all have to do at some point in time. This is a really weird shot, this one. It's the earth washed away below the spillway at Balboa Lake. But the colors and patterns were so vivid, so abstract, I just couldn't help myself. I had to take the shot. You know, the beauty of the earth isn't just on the surface, and you don't have to scrape away much of the topsoil to see the beauty goes deep. I want to look at people this way. Just, you know, scrape off a little bit of the crustiness and see the beauty that lies inside their heart and soul, or at least inside the heart and soul of most of us. When I took this shot, I was sure that it would be a throwaway, but on second look, I realized how three-dimensional it and the world really are. Life is like that, full of dimension. It's never flat and boring. That is an important goal of all landscape photographers, to capture the world in a three-dimensional perspective. And that should be our goal, to live life, not flat, but in all of its dimensions. Lastly, with this shot, I wanted to make the world look the way I wanted it to look. I desaturated the picture to make it black and white. But the world isn't black and white. It's full of color, and the color always comes through. You can make life a boring black and white journey, but isn't it better to take it as it is, full of color, a real potential for happiness, and always overflowing with joy as we appreciate life as a gift from God? Well, I hope you didn't find these videos too philosophical and too preachy, because that wasn't my intent. My purpose was to show you that Every time that I shoot a picture, even a snapshot, there is something in my mind, either conscious or subconscious, that made that moment important. I encourage you to slow down, to think about why you're shooting that picture, so you can enjoy the moment like I try to do, always at its fullest. In the meantime, hit the button down there in the lower, I think it's the right hand corner, to subscribe if you like these videos. And always, please share. Share with your friends and your family. But most important, keep your shutter clicking. Bye now.